The preseason polls are out. Wofford baseball, the pick by both the coaches and the media to win the Southern Conference in the 2022 season, which just puts a little bit of pressure on Coach Todd Interdonato. But I guess that's a good problem to have, the fact that, hey, you'll get everybody's best shot this year.
In all seriousness, it's good to be recognized. You know, we talked about it as a program. You can't sit here and say you'd want to be picked last, of course. Like, it's not what anybody looks forward to. So it's good to be recognized, especially by the other people in the league. It always means a lot to you. And, you know, when you see our guys come up for preseason, you know, that means a lot to them and their families too. So that's really cool. And at the end of the day, we just know, we know what it means, right? It's a great recognition and you feel good about it. And then you're like, okay, on to the next thing.
You know, you look at your club coming back, Todd, and I see a lot of strength up the middle. You mentioned guys who were picked all SoCon. You've got Lawson Hill, you got Trey Younger, you got Nolan Hester. You got a great closer coming out of the bullpen in Dalton Radines. Where do you see the strength of this team being this year?
I think it's in our balance. You know, we went up and scrimmaged App State, who Kermit's a good friend of mine, and we just kind of talked about the team afterwards. He goes, "What do you like about our team?" And I go, "I just don't know where we're short. You know, I just don't really know where we're short. We really like how we defend. We really like how we pitch. We like the balance of our offense. You know, I get that we lose the pitcher and the player of the year, and I understand how big of roles those guys filled. But you just look at it, and would you rather lose one really good player, or would you rather lose 5 or 6 good players? And unfortunately, you know, we lost the really good player, but fortunately we have all those other guys back. So I just think the balance is something that we've relied on so far.
And let's face it, you've never been shy about playing young guys, even freshmen, if they're talented enough and can fill a spot there. Talk about some of the newcomers we might see and whether somebody will have a prominent role.
So, you know, you look at it and, you know, like we just mentioned, you know, you're only missing one full-time position player. So that makes it a little bit harder for those first-year guys to do. But man, we've had some first-year players that have just had phenomenal falls and pre-springs. You know, I look at David Wiley and Marshall Toole on the offensive side of the ball, 2 young outfielders that, you know, I think they could play right away. But, you know, right now they're behind some experienced guys, but they'll certainly play a role as we go. But really, I think we're going to see the most impact from our freshmen on the mound. You know, we got 5 arms down there that are all have thrown the ball exceptionally well. Colson Buchanan, Carter Bailey, Andrew Herman, Lucas Malstead, and Michael Sills. Those guys have just been really good. And the thing I've liked about a lot of those guys is they've been very consistent. You know, it's just kind of pretty rare that you see a first-year player consistent from the time he steps on campus until the last inter-squad, and that's what a handful of those guys have done.
We know what Wofford baseball is all about. Aggressiveness, especially on the bases, just, you know, concentration on fundamentals and doing things the right way. Where do the upperclassmen come in terms of getting that message to the younger guys and just having that system just kind of keep repeating and reloading?
I think the fact that our older guys have had success with it, right? It's not sexy. You know, focusing on the fundamentals is not sexy. It's not something that everybody comes to play Division I baseball and say, okay, let's get back to fundamentals. But I think when you have guys like Dalton Radines and Clay Schwaner and Josh Vitus on the pitching side saying, hey, just follow this system, follow this formula, and you'll have a lot of success. And then you mentioned Lawson, who's been here, you know, this is now his 5th year with us. You know, he's had a lot of success in our system playing to it. And I just think those upperclassmen, it's worked for them. So now they look at those younger guys and say, hey, it may not be sexy, it may not be what you want, but it's going to help you succeed and it's going to help us win some games. And it's obviously the message.
All right, the sun is shining, the field looks great. The Terriers kick things off this weekend with a 3-game series against George Mason beginning on Friday.